Okay, this is going to be a quick update video on the 2.0 liter Ford Focus engine rebuild, the single overhead cam engine. In the previous videos, we removed the intake manifold, exhaust manifold, the coil pack, EGR tube, and all that from the actual head itself. The head that I ordered from Heads Only, it comes with the springs and valves. It doesn't come with a cam, and it doesn't come with new rockers and fulcrums and the guides and the lifter guides or the lifters and the guides. So I'm going to have to pull those off. And so what I want to do here, according to the manual, is that you'll want to keep those in the in the same order that they were in when you reinstall them. So I've labeled just some basic little baggies here. For example, this number four intake, and this is the exhaust side. This is the intake side back here. So number 4 intake, rocker and lifters and guides. That whole this piece, I'm gonna keep that in its own bag. And so what I'm going to do with those before I install them is I'm obviously going to clean them up. I've got some purple power, I believe. And if that doesn't do the trick, I have a friend who is going to let me use his industrial parts cleaner. But I'd prefer to keep these in order myself rather than taking them somewhere and risk something getting messed up. So we're going to take them off. We're going to put them in the right order. I'm going to clean them up one at a time. I'm going to inspect the fulcrums and everything and make sure nothing's wore out too bad, and I don't need to order anything new for this. After I get those off, I'm going to take the this cam gear off and pull the cam out. So before I even start removing anything, I'm just going to clean up these rocker bolts here with a nylon brush, so that I don't round out these bolts, because this stuff was caked on there so bad. It was really hard for me to get a socket on there. So yeah, it's nasty. So I'm going to clean that up a little bit and then start taking these off. Okay, so here's where we are. We've got the lifters and the rocker arms off, and all the guides. All those are pulled off. They're all bagged up, and I've got them lightly oiled because I'm not going to be able to wash them all at one time with my little parts washer set up. So I can keep track of everything, I'm also going to I am going to stick them in there one at a time. Let them soak for a little bit, scrub them. So this is kind of a long process. So I am going to move on to other things while I am working on cleaning these up. Now, once I get them cleaned up, we'll have to inspect them. So where it contacts the valve stem, right here where my pinky finger is, once it's cleaned up, we'll need to see if there's a lot of wear right there. And also the fulcrum seats in there, so where that block sits down in there, we'll want to check on that and make sure it's not really wore out too bad. If it is, then we may need to get some new rockers. But they probably won't be. They'll probably be fine. But we'll be able to see really the wear on them. And there's where the lifters rub at. So we'll check that as well. We'll really see it after I've cleaned them up some. But that's kind of the process I'm going to be going through to get these clean to be put on the new head. I think it's getting kind of late. That's how I'm probably going to leave it. I'm probably just going to cover it up, try to keep all the air out of it and moisture out of it for the next day or so, while I'm working on getting these guys cleaned up. But tomorrow, I think I'm going to go ahead and pull the cam out, check the lobes and see how wore out the cam is, if it is wore out at all. Because if it's wore out and it's got some damage on it, then I'll probably need to go ahead and get a cam ordered before I get too far into this. I've got in the mail in the last couple days, I've got my new head from Heads Only. I've got my rebuild kit. Let's see, what else have I got? The rebuild kit came with the pistons and rings. I've been looking around trying to get trying to find a place where I can use a piston ring filer. Unfortunately, none of the auto stores rent out that tool, and I don't know any engine builder personally that would have one. I really don't want to file it by hand because it's not something that I do a lot of. So I don't want to file it and mess the rings up. I really don't want to buy a $60 piston ring filer and use it once. So worst case scenario, I may try it by hand, and if I mess the rings up, then I'll get a new set, because these aren't high performance rings that cost $100 a set or anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning these up, and then next video is probably gonna be me removing the cam and probably showing you what the rockers and the lifters and everything look like when they're cleaned up. So thanks.